Am I the asshole for refusing to make my daughter call my ex dad? I, 31F, have a 10-year-old daughter. I got pregnant by accident by my ex-partner, 33M, and our relationship fell apart before I even gave birth. I've never asked him for a penny for her as I make better money than him, and besides he has been unemployed due to medical reasons for the past 4 years after a bad injury. All I have ever asked of him is to visit and know our daughter, but he struggles to even do that. She is lucky if she sees him even 6 times out of the year, as he always flakes on arranged meetings or cancels at the last minute. We've fought about this so many times, and at this stage one just don't have the energy for it. When she was 3 years old I began dating my husband, 34M. Though I waited till we'd been together a year before they even met, as you can never be too safe, and he was very understanding on this, and I knew he was the one when on their 3rd meeting she complained her shoes were pinching to me and he took us to get her new shoes and insisted on paying. We ended up marrying when she was 6, and our first dance was actually the 3 of us together. I'd learned over the course of our dating that he couldn't have children, though he'd always wanted one, and he leapt feet first into being the best male figure in my daughter's life he could be. He has ensured he never missed anything to do with her, even declining to go on a business trip as it would mean he'd miss her school play. He doesn't like my ex because of how often he has hurt her, but he also never speaks ill of him in front of her. She has begun to call my husband dad without either of us asking, and at a meeting with my ex she ended up calling him by his first name, and when he tried to correct her she said that my husband was her dad. I understood her feelings on this and refused to correct her. My ex got angry and thought we had done this and turned her against him, but I pointed out that he had done that himself and it was his fault. She didn't view him as a father and he has had plenty of chances. This led to an argument, at which point I asked my husband to take her out to grab some food as I didn't want her hearing the impending shouting match. My ex has had his family get on our case over this to try and get us to have my daughter use the proper respect towards her father. In my opinion, she's old enough to know her own mind, and I'm not going to invalidate her feelings to stroke the ego of a man who barely sees her. My husband and I have discussed him adopting her in case anything ever happens to me, and have even been in contact with a lawyer. I have years of texts proving my ex rarely sees her and often cancels, and also proof that he has never given monetary support. The lawyer feels that this is enough to help push the adoption through, even if my ex refuses to consent, which we suspect he will. I feel this could be an asshole behavior, as perhaps I should have been gentler over this and tried to make him see that he needs to put work in, but it seems pointless, to be honest. Not the asshole. 10 is old enough to understand what "dad" really means. She feels like your husband is her dad. She's also old enough to decide how she wants to address him. Definitely not the asshole. Your daughter has her own feelings, and if she chooses to call your husband dad rather than her bio dad, this is her own right. There is a reason why she feels this connection with your husband and not your ex. I'm in the same situation as you are, and trust me when I say you are doing the right thing by not forcing your daughter to call your ex dad. You are validating her feelings and giving her the space and respect to make her own decisions. Not the asshole. There's way more to being a dad than sharing DNA. If he wants to be called dad, he should step up his game and actually become a part of her life. Not the asshole. Your daughter showed him more respect than he deserved just showing up. When you hear from his family, just reply, "Who are you again?" and "How do I know you?" I should have been gentler over this. Strong disagree. Respect is earned, and baby daddy is a flake. He's never paid child support and he's never been active in her life. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not opening a very expensive bottle of liquor? This happened recently and I'm still getting heat from it, so I figured I'd post it here. My husband and I, 36 female 36 male. My husband suggested we invite his friend who we have known for a long time and their 4 kids, but they live far away. I don't mind his friend, 38 male. But his friend's wife, 39 female, can be pushy. She likes nightlife with clubs and drinking, while I would rather do just about anything else. My husband and I come from poor backgrounds. My parents came into a bit of money after our kids were born, and we let them sometimes spoil us paid trips. A much-needed new car, clothes for the kids, designer purse. I'm only mentioning this because it's relevant. When they showed up to the party, all was fine. We were having a good time, and since our kids had fun. At one point I had went to get out some hard lemonade, which I never would have gotten and only did because this friend said she wanted some, out of the coolers. I handed her one and she said, "Girl, I think I want some wine too." Okay, I think we have a few bottles in the china cabinet. My husband and I don't really drink, so we were given bottles before that we never opened. We go to said cabinet and I take out the 2 bottles we have. Looks at them then me and says, I know you aren't offering me this crap when you have 3 bottles of Class A Azul in there. Here's the thing. 2 of those are empty because my husband got them at a job he worked and wanted to use them for pictures. The other is an unopened bottle that we are saving for a very, very special occasion. I have never even tasted it. I told her as much and she got angry. She started throwing all my wealth back at me. Now, I'll accept that my parents do spoil us, but it's to a certain point. But we do not rely on them for everything. In fact, we make a point of paying for all our bills, insurance, food, household goods and see by ourselves. So what she said hit a nerve with me. I told her there was no way in hell I was opening that bottle at a 10-year-old's birthday party. She said she would probably never get the chance to even taste it in any other setting and I was being a bad friend. My husband came over due to all the yelling and found out what was going on. He sided with me and told her we weren't opening that and that she already made us buy the hard lemonades and we weren't feeding her alcoholism anymore. She seemed embarrassed, so she stopped and we went about the party. Now she's been texting me telling me I am the asshole and a bad friend for not opening the bottle for her. That they had traveled 3 hours to see us and it was the least I could do. She really hasn't let this go, though. She keeps telling me I'm the asshole but I can't see it. I don't even know if it's that big of a deal. For the life of me I really don't think what I did was wrong, but she even got her friends to send me messages calling me a privileged bitch and not sharing the wealth with my friends. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Not the asshole, and what the hell? She's acting like she's entitled to that bottle. Weird. This reminds me when my wife drank the remaining of a bottle of Class A Azul with her friend in Magaritas. I wasn't particularly saving the bottle and I'm happy they had fun. They were welcome to drink it, but this was just ridiculous. Not the asshole. She felt entitled to something that isn't hers. When you set your boundary, she threw a tantrum and took the victim position. All because she didn't get what she wanted. She's also baiting you for a reaction and trying to pull you into a conflict. Not the asshole, what a goof. Cut her out. Not the asshole. She has an alcohol problem if she's still tripping about that. I would have kicked her out the party honestly for being rude. Am I the asshole for not giving my sister her kids back? My sister 28F has 2 biological kids, 11M, 11F, who I 31F have taken care of their whole lives. She got pregnant at 17 and decided to keep them. She underestimated how hard kids were and gave up. Since the second she brought them home, my parents and I did all the work apart for feeding, which she would often refuse to do as she was tired. A little after the twins were born we found out that my mum had early onset Alzheimer's, so I had to take on more responsibility with them. A year later I graduated university and basically became the sole caregiver of the twins and my mum, as I have my own business and can work from home. A little later I adopted the twins. My sister didn't fight and signed over rights without saying anything against it. That, along with my father's job, generated enough income to live comfortably. A couple years later I got married to my boyfriend, who I had been with for a few years. He knew about my kids' parentage but took them in as his own. Later we started discussing having kids, and after discussing it at length both together and with the twins we decided to start trying. My daughter was born when the twins were 8 and they have been wonderful older siblings and she adores them. Even after I got married we still lived with my parents and sister, as my mother needed someone to take care of her and my sister refused to help out. Now we have decided to put mum into a care home as it has become too much on me and my family. My husband decided to finally move out to around 1 hour away due to how expensive houses are near where we used to live. This has caused some issues with my sister as she has started trying to take my kids, her bio kids. She first asked to move in with us, but she has severe anger issues which she refuses to get help for, and as much as I love her, my kids come first. I will let her visit. I'm not having her living with us as she is too unpredictable, and while she hasn't hurt my kids she has lashed out at them. I am not saying that she can't see them, but I just don't want her living with us, especially as she doesn't work and really just wants to not have to take care of herself. For anyone asking, yes, she lived at the old house, but she was rarely home and lived in a converted garage in the garden, so we didn't see her often. She is now saying that I have my daughter, so I should give her kids back. I told her that they are my kids, not hers. They know she is their bio mother but only see her as their aunt, like my bio daughter. She has started trying to take legal action, but since she signed over rights with no residence and no intention to get rights back, there is not much she can do. So she has started getting my outer family involved. The majority of my aunts and uncles are on her side, saying that I was basically only a babysitter and that they aren't my actual kids. I don't know what to do. Am I the asshole for not giving them to her or letting her move in? Not the asshole. You can't decide to act like a parent when it's convenient. Well done for stepping up and being a great parent. Not the asshole. Those kids are emotionally and legally your kids. Your sister can stuff it. Not the asshole. Keep her limited to visits. Cut off the relatives who seem to think that parents sign over parental rights to babysitters. They are asshole too. Not the asshole. You've been their mother since they were born. Legally, you're their parent. It's pretty gross how your other relatives are calling you a babysitter. She has no grounds to get them back. Even if she did, they're 11 now. It's in their best interest to stay with you, as that's the life they know. You gave them a stable, loving home while she was out doing whatever it is she does. Cut off you sister, total NC, and any family member who takes her side. Chop them off like a diseased appendage and never look back. Am I the asshole for throwing my friend's weight in her face after she criticized mine? I 33 female have known Kara 33 female since 1995. She's always been a bigger girl and I've stuck up for her all throughout elementary school and middle school before I had to move. We lost connection back in 2009 and reunited in 2015. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship and had gained a massive amount of weight. I started getting serious in 2020. I got a personal trainer and started learning about health and fitness. I have hypothyroidism and PCOS, so the weight was harder to lose and took much longer. Kara would do the fad diets and quit them as soon as she started them. She's 5 female 9 and almost 400 pounds. So about mid-spring I reached my goal and had lost over 50 pounds. I'm 5 female 8 and started at 220. I still had a spare tire, but other than that it was a dramatic difference. My dating life turned around. People were just nicer to me in general. I had a better mood and was doing better at work. The trouble started when I started inviting Kara to go to the gym with me because she wanted to get fit before her wedding this fall. If she was the one driving to the gym, I would only have to expect a 35-minute workout, which was about almost a quarter of the time I would usually spend. I've taken myself back to the gym after she'd drive us home to get my car. She would always be so angry as to why I wanted more time at the gym. When we'd get back to her place, she would order a pizza and would get mad when I wouldn't eat food with her. I'd explain that I'm not spending all this money on an endocrinologist just to ignore the diet they set up for me. We finally agreed that I could bring my own food and we would go work out in separate cars, that way she wouldn't be stuck waiting for me, and I could get my workout in. It finally reached a boiling point last week. We decided to meet at her house to go to the gym, and she was in a foul mood when I got there. Apparently she went to the doctor and he told her that she had gained 15 pounds within the last 2 months. I put my salad in her fridge and turned around to her staring at me with her arms folded. I asked what was up and she started crying and saying that I had an eating disorder and that it's changed the dynamic of our relationship. I'm going to have to go back in to get my bridesmaid dress tailored, and now I'm too self-absorbed and obsessed with my weight to watch TV with her. She went on and on about how disgusting my body must look with an eating disorder with my loose skin. After she said that, I just quietly said, "And you think that you don't have an eating disorder?" That's when she blew up on me, calling me fatphobic and how she's probably the healthiest person in the house. Her sister and brother are also very obese as well. They came out and only heard her side of the argument, mostly because she wouldn't let me get a word in to explain. She told me she didn't want me in her wedding unless I apologized and gained 15 pounds. Reddit: am I the asshole? Not the asshole. And she needs to be your ex-friend. Not the asshole if you do have an eating disorder and she was concerned. This is not how you respond to and/or address it. She was just lashing out at you because she's frustrated with her own life. Seems like someone's jealous. Def NTA. Not the asshole. Your body, your choice. You are dieting and exercising under the care of a health professional. You don't need her to agree with you. She needs to respect your choices. You only mentioned her weight after she attacked you. Personally, I think you've put up with enough strife already. Not the asshole. Some people you cannot help. They need to figure things out on their own. Unfortunately, that may be the end of this friendship.